Hey boys, this video is to take a look in a little bit more detail at the global warming lab. This is the lab we've done this week, and I wanted to go into some more detail about why we're doing this, what we're trying to get out of it, and give you some tips on to how to do it really well. So, with this lab, the purpose of it is, as it says under the problem there, what are the various causes of global warming? So from class, and I give you some background information here, from class we know that global warming occurs because we release greenhouse gases into the atmosphere. But there are also some other reasons that the Earth can heat up, right? One of those reasons is the surface of the Earth itself and albedo. We'll get into what that means in just a minute. But basically, this lab is to investigate all of the possible reasons and to come to some conclusions about why global warming is occurring and what we can tell from that, and make some relations between the lab and the larger world around us. So one thing that I wanted to talk about with this was, first of all, method number one says fill in the model description column with the various trials we will run and what those are supposed to represent. For example, tinfoil high albedo can be the first trial. So what we're talking about here is right here where it says model description, right? And what we're going to fill in there. In class, I gave you very short to the point little titles for that, but now part of your homework is to figure out what those descriptions and what those titles, what they represent. So I wanted to go through some background information with you first. The first thing I wanted to talk about was this thing called albedo. Okay, so what is albedo? Albedo is the ability for a surface to reflect or absorb energy. So something with high albedo reflects a lot. Something with low albedo reflects a little, which means that it absorbs most of that energy. Okay? So when we're looking at something like tinfoil, is tinfoil going to reflect light and energy or absorb it? Well, we know that light bounces off of tinfoil. So tinfoil will have high albedo. Something like that has low albedo will be dark colors. That's why in the summertime you're always told not to wear black out on the really hot days, because that black color, it absorbs lots of energy, lots of light, and will make you hotter. So that black paper would have low albedo. Now, who cares, right? Why do we care about albedo? Well, if surfaces on Earth have a low albedo, meaning they absorb lots of energy, that means that Earth is going to get hotter. So if, for instance, we replace nice reflective surfaces with dark colored surfaces that absorb the energy, the Earth's going to get warmer. So we'll talk a little bit more about that in a minute, but in the meantime, start to think about what could be a light color that reflects light naturally, and then what are we replacing that with, okay? So we're going to move this down a bit, and we're going to take a look at each object, each material that we used in the lab. So the first thing that we used was the cup. What could the cup possibly represent? Well, the cup is the holding container for everything else that we're doing, and it's where we're measuring the temperature of the air. So really, the cup represents the Earth as a whole, right? Including the air. Now, that then brings us to the saran wrap, the cling wrap. We put that over the air as a covering to the air that would hold the air close to the Earth and trap the air. What part of Earth traps the air? Well, we know that that will therefore be the atmosphere, right? So now we're getting to tin foil. What could tin foil? Remember, tin foil has high albedo, meaning it reflects most light. What surface on Earth reflects lots of light? It's very light colored, reflects lots of energy and lots of light back up into space. What's the lightest color thing that we know on Earth, right? The lightest color, lightest surface. Probably something that's been falling a lot lately. Snow, right? Snow up in the polar ice caps, snow and ice reflects most of the sun's energy and keeps the Earth cooler. Now, what would be the black paper? Black paper. Now, this is something we're replacing snow and we're replacing normal Earth surfaces with this black color. What are we doing on Earth that's replacing things with this black color? Well, we are actually paving, right? Pavement, whether it's asphalt or whether it's buildings and rooftops and all that, they're almost always black. And those surfaces absorb lots and lots of energy, potentially making the Earth warmer. We also put water into the cup. Now, what part of Earth's surface could water be represented by? This one should be pretty easy. It's the ocean, right? Now, here's a question. How much energy is absorbed by the Earth's hard surfaces versus the ocean itself? Does the water absorb more energy or less energy than do the normal terra firma, right? The land, the terrestrial, so the trees and forests and mountains. Which one absorbs more energy? So that's why we're testing it with the water. And then we also had water and Alka-Seltzer. So, with water and Alka-Seltzer, that produces a gas. And that gas, if you do a little bit of research, you will find out that the gas that is produced from mixing water and Alka-Seltzer is CO2, carbon dioxide. And we know carbon dioxide is a greenhouse gas. So the trials with water and Alka-Seltzer, that's actually testing what the effect of having carbon dioxide is. So now what is left to do is figure out how these terms fit in with the different trials that we've done here. So here are 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. The 5 trials that we ran during lab. So the first one was we had the cup and the tin foil at the bottom. There was no atmosphere on top. So how could we characterize the tin foil, just the tin foil? Well, that would be high albedo, no atmosphere, right? Now, tin foil and saran wrap would only slightly change from number 1. This would be high albedo with the atmosphere. Now, if we switch some things around and we're in trial 3, we've got black paper and the saran wrap. So that would mean, we'd be talking about low albedo with the atmosphere. So what would we do for number 4 and number 5? I'm going to let you fill those in. I will be making a video shortly talking about controls and how to answer some of those discussion questions.